Peace, love, and light, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. My name's Mamina. As you guys know, it's Thursday. That's Jupiter day. So we're focusing on wealth, luck, and prosperity. This time I'm doing it a little different. I'm going to tap into what's blocking your prosperity, luck, or wealth, right? What's the solution? And then what's the first step that you can take? And then we'll dive in further with like divine awakening details. What's a good time frame? Maybe you need patience, maybe you need to move quickly. And then we're going to hop into the traits, and then finally we're going to get some key inspiring creative advice from Bob Ross. That's right, you read that correctly. So I'm going to hop into it with the tarot first. This is one of my favorite decks, new decks that I have. It is the Cosmic Cycles Tarot. I absolutely love it. We're going to hop into that one first. I've already shuffled a little bit. I'm just going to mix them up just a tad more so that we can get into what it is that you need. This is for the collective. This is a general reading for the collective. So please, as always, only take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Okay? First card. What's blocking or stopping your prosperity, collective? A lack of gratitude. I call this the gratitude card. So they put a thank you card in the tarot. And normally when they put little cards like that, I'll take it out and whatnot. But this one just has such a beautiful energy to it. And it gave this feeling of oneness, friendship, family, just things to be grateful for, the simple things in life. If there's a problem with a thank you, then that means there's a lack of gratitude. There's something that you're not giving enough praise to or thank you for. You might be sitting around looking at everything you don't have instead of sitting around and looking at all of the abundance you do have. Because you can turn these situations, these are different phases in each of these people's lives. Look at this. We have a creative couple sitting over here in the corner. We have somebody bringing in food, someone that's handicapped right now. There's so many different people represented on this card that from their own individual perspective, they could see their situation as plain, mundane, not necessarily the best. But to everyone else they're surrounding, they contribute something like, such and such brought the music, so-and-so has the food. I mean, it seems simple, but a lot of times the solutions are that simple. They really are. Let's see what the solution is. We have the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is telling you that the solution is not only to move forward, but to be swift in your motion. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean to just rush in per se, even though that's typically what the Knight of Swords does, to just rush right in. This is saying still watch where you're going, but stop stalling. Stop being ungrateful, stop stalling, stop taking the small things in life that actually contribute so much to your life for granted. And while you're at it, go ahead and push yourself. Get on that skateboard. You ever heard the Lupe Fiasco song? Just skate, push, skate. It's like that. It's like just get on the board, push off. You might fall a few times, but get back up, get back on the board and push off. Be mindful of where you're going. Have your eye coordination together, but push forward. What do we have next? We have Six of Swords. What was I saying? Push forward. It's time to go. Sometimes it can be hard having to move on past the things we have to leave behind. Some may feel tempted to look back, right? Others may feel tempted to only focus forward and not reflect. But this is telling you that it's really time to pack up and move forward. That swift, steady motion forward. For some of you, it might be a hot and fast motion because maybe when you drag your feet, you procrastinate. For others, just understand that even though you may have had some falls, some bumps, some hiccups, get back on the board, skate off again, push off again. You're going to build your own momentum. And once you really get into the flow of things, it's just going to shoot off. You're just going to shoot forward. Six of Swords is about that. It's about moving on. It's about leaving something behind. In this case, we have a mother and a daughter that's moving on because they're getting a divorce. So they're moving on and the daughter had to go with the mother in this aspect. Some of you might be dealing with having to move on from a person. And that's what's been keeping you from feeling grateful about all the other people or opportunities that are around you because you were too stuck looking behind at the person that you had to move forward past. And this doesn't have to just be a lover. This could be family. Sometimes you have to move away from family. Sometimes family can be the first ones to tell you that you can't do something, and you need to be around people that can inspire you, people that are going to look at you and say, you're capable, you got this. All right, so we have get into that grateful motion, kick off, push off, and allow yourself to go forward. Allow yourself to leave. And for some of you, this could be an actual move, because the bags keep standing out to me. So for some of you, you might have been afraid to actually physically move somewhere, and it's time to get that behind in gear and move. Let's see how this plays into your divine awakening. How does this play into your divine awakening? Inner demons. When you're faced with the darker side of yourself, or when you're faced with and listen, inner demons a lot of times are dark thoughts, negative thoughts placed upon you by someone else, and then you adopt it. You start to believe it. So if you find, when you look in your life, if you find that you have things to be grateful for, what made you not grateful? What made you look at those things and take them for granted? A lot of times it's that voice inside, that negative voice, that if you trace it back and you go back far enough, you find out it was placed there by a teacher, a parent, a bully, someone that just told you you're not enough. You can't do that. You can't achieve that. Nobody cares about you. Like, you know the terms. You know your situation. This is still general. But you know your situation. You know what you can relate that to. And what that does is you're so busy listening to all those toxic voices around yourself that you find yourself not actually being grateful, not surrounding yourself with people who encourage you, who watch over you. See how the one sitting in the tree and he's just like looking over everyone, checking down. He's not looking down on them. He's checking. He's keeping an eye out. Right? This here is about coming together with like-minded people that push you forward, that challenge you to go forward, not challenge you by being negative. So this is a part of what your divine awakening is facing that shadow side, is facing all of those inner voices that you'll realize the further you go back, this wasn't even originally my voice. It became my voice. At some point, I subconsciously adopted the voice that says I'm not enough, or the voice that says I couldn't get that project done. And it just became so accustomed that I couldn't tell the difference between it and myself. Well, now it's time for you to go in and tell the difference. Now it's time to go in and see and know the difference. What else do we have? Juggling burdens. Kind of hard to push yourself forward, right? If you're spending too much time juggling all these burdens. This actually feels like a Two of Pentacles vibe to me, because the Two of Pentacles is about juggling, but then finding balance. In this case, you've been juggling the burdens of your inner demons. You've been juggling the burdens of those negative voices, those negative, and listen, low vibrations pull in negative entities. Low vibrations make it easier for people to come in and manipulate. It makes it easier for entities to manipulate. It makes it easier for you to end up in dark situations and dark times in your life. So it's important that you push past all of that, that you move forward at rocket speed when it comes to getting out of these situations. You may find that you're also carrying burdens that aren't yours to carry. You might be giving so much of yourself to a situation or a person that's not even a part of your shadow, but they are a shadow. They overshadow you. They block out your illumination. And then you find yourself trying to juggle your life, family, and work, and other people's problems, and your problems, and the world problems. And that's not good. Okay? It's time to let it go. It's time to put gratefulness over those voices. It's time to push past those burdens and to move forward. I'm feeling compelled to actually mix this one again. So let's see. Let's see what's going to go with that Six of Swords as a part of your awakening. Divine masculine. And this could be because you are a divine masculine. This could be because there's a divine masculine in your life that's saying to you, okay, you can do this. You got this. I don't know why you're listening to those voices in your head that tell you that you can't do this. And sometimes the voices in your head are people, physical people around you, mother, father, brother, cousin, aunt, uncle, niece, nephew, people who say things, whether they mean it or not. Because sometimes people are so stereotyped and so caught up in their ideals of how something's supposed to be that they'll say negative-ish to you without even thinking it's negative. For real, for real. They'll mock you, make fun of you. They don't care in the moment about your feelings because in their mind what they said wasn't a big deal, but for you it was crucial. This could also be a divine masculine that you have to move on from. This is a collective reading. There's a lot of different energy here, right? Because like I tell people, and then let me clarify, because it says divine masculine and I'm getting those two different energies. There are many divine feminines and divine masculines, all individually unique. However, not every divine masculine or feminine is your divine masculine or feminine. You have to be able to understand that. You can come across somebody that seems very well together, and for some reason, there's just certain areas that you can't seem to click. And if you just allow yourself to go within, discover more about yourself, you may find that that divine masculine came in as a lesson and a blessing to help push you forward to where you really needed to be, to where you really should be, in which you will find your ultimate partner, your significant other. In this case, I'm feeling more like this is a divine masculine that's trying to encourage you. So this may not be a divine masculine that you're dating. This could be a brother figure. This could be a best friend, somebody who just sees the best in you and they're protective of you at the same time. They're divine, but they may not necessarily be your divine. You feel what I'm saying? For others, this is a partner. This is someone you could be transitioning into love with. This is someone you may already be in love with, and they may already be in love with you. There's a lot of different energies coming in. But in order to really accept and move forward, because that's what I'm hearing, move forward to your divine masculine. In order to do that, you have to leave this shadow one back here. For those of you that are with somebody that's toxic, they pull you down. They remind you of every mistake you've ever made, but they're not quick to praise you when you do something good. Listen, that line just came in. If you're only as good as the company you keep, then I'm going to blame you for what they say about me. If you're only surrounding yourself with people who put you down and you're not surrounding yourself with people that'll watch over you, come in to support you, right? Cheer you on, have your back. If you're not surrounding yourself with those type of individuals, what you will see manifest in your life will be what they help you drag down into versus what they've helped you lift up into. So if there's some toxic people and or person that you need to move forward to in order to get to your divine masculine, and take this how it resonates, because for anyone watching, you're into the other side of things. You have a feminine that you're into. Many feminists can carry the energy of the divine masculine. It's their main, they're feminine, but their main image, or not image rather, their main energetic energy is masculine. They're more of a go-getter. They're more of a push forward kind of person. Remember, push forward, right? So that could be also some energy that you're meant to tap into. But at the end of the day, whichever way it may resonate, this is still about forward motion, moving forward, moving on past something in order to grow, in order to reach your happy place. All right. So let's get into time now. Let's see what we have for time when it comes to these three, now that we know how this plays into your divine awakening. And sometimes, people are very sensitive about shadow work, but listen, you're not, first of all, no one is meant to have to take responsibility for your triggers. That's that whole juggling burdens thing. The reason you end up in that position, many people put their shadow, the toxic parts, because your shadow isn't initially toxic, but they put their shadow on you. I'm going to make you responsible for when such and such did this to me in the past and so and so. And what will happen is if you're not careful, you will turn into that same kind of person. You'll be the person watching the news, taking every little thing you hear about every single celebrity, person you don't know, so seriously, without actually saying, does this really apply to my situation? It's not about not being empathetic. It's not about not standing up for someone's rights or caring about them. It's about asking yourself, am I first of all reading this situation correctly, or am I just being emotional because of my personal feelings and opinions? Am I actually taking time to use my discernment? As a person who's capable of doing it, let me explain to you, you can remove your opinion from a situation and judge it for what it is versus what you thought it was. It involves changing your perspective every time you enter a new situation. It involves looking at every single viewpoint, even when it's something that you are offended by, and even when you're justified in being offended. Your emotional reaction becomes a reality for you. So if every time you turn around, you're getting mad at any and every little thing, and then you're yelling at someone else, you're going out in the world, you're taking it out on someone else, you are doing to another person what was done to you, and that will block your prosperity. Every time it'll seem like something will come in, it'll look like it was ripped away twice as fast. The same can be said for someone who sits in a depressed, they're juggling their depressions. That's also a low frequency, a low vibration. So then you'll find the same thing. It's the depression looks for excuses to stay. Like misery looks for excuses to stay. Many a time, the reason miserable people have to go out of their way to make someone else miserable is because they're looking for an excuse to stay the way they are. Oh, look, see, such and such is now talking back. Look, they're just like me. What's the first thing you hear a negative person say whenever they meet someone that they think is a goody two-shoes? You're no different than I am. They're looking for something toxic in your programming that has been adopted that they can latch on to, activate, and then when you finally lash out or you finally get hype, and look, defending yourself is fine, but there's a line, and sometimes people want you to cross that line in order to prove themselves right. You see, I told you that you were like me. I told you that you were this, that, and the third. Bunk all that. Push past all that. Ain't nobody got time. You shouldn't have time. Even though time is abundant and it doesn't work the way you think, in this, it's still moving. It's a constant motion thing. That's why it's eternal. Time has no limit. It goes on and on. It's like a circle. It just keeps looping itself into new phases and new cycles. This is the cosmic cycle tarot, right? It goes into different cosmic cycles. So with that being said, you had an option. You can stay in a toxic, ungrateful, listening to the inner demons in your head, juggling a bunch of people's burdens and your burdens and the world's burdens all at the same time. Or you can say, I'm going to evolve, because let's say you want to help the world. How can you help the world if you're going out into it sarcastic, judgmental, only your opinion matters, listening to toxic voices in your head, and initially turning into what you couldn't stand dealing with? How does that help the world? It doesn't. Right? If you're trying to find your counterpart, and your counterpart involves you having to leave behind, even if kids are involved, kids being around a toxic relationship, kids being around a relationship of so-called convenience, you're telling them this is the way of the world. You are programming them the same way you were programmed. Somebody got to be honest at the end of the day. You know who you are, and you know that you needed to hear this like it's being said. It's channeling in that way for a reason. I don't care if you're male, female, them, they, whatever. If you find yourself putting up with toxic situations and you blame it on having kids, that is a blame that child will eventually adopt. It is also a lifestyle that child will eventually adopt. And is that what you want? Do you want that kind of burden? Do you want that kind of resentment? Do you want to sit up there and make your child believe this is how it's supposed to be? Just put up with a toxic partner for the sake of children? No. When there's somebody out there who will love you, love them kids, maybe even have more kids with you, whatever your preference with that is, and show you, no, it doesn't have to be that way. But how do you start? You start by being grateful for the little things that you were ignoring because maybe this person here was the distraction. There's a difference between your shadow, which instinct is to protect and cloak you, and someone else overcasting you. Two different things, sweetheart. Two different things. Right? Whoever needed to hear that, you know your situation or situations, because there's multiple people channeling in. We're going to get into the sands of time. I'll mention the decks I'm using at the end. Look at that. Time for a new. It's time for a new perspective. It's time for a new beginning. It's time for a new adventure. It's time to cleanse out toxic voices, toxic situations. There is nothing in your way but you. And once you can understand that, you can push forward. Summertime. Next summer could be very crucial for some of you. I'm feeling like some of you might want to do something with business by the time summer comes. Some of you might also want to just be in a whole new location by the time summer comes. Some of you need to carry the vibration and energy of summer. Normally, when people think of summertime from a positive perspective, they think trips, vacations, going out, enjoying the weather, even if it is hot, but just getting outside, being able to have an adventure, so to speak. And remember, you're kicking off, right? So for those of you who might have a business you want to do, or maybe you're saving up for some type of move, like moving away from a family home and whatever the case may be, you might be aiming for summertime. But don't think that that means you're supposed to sit still until summer. No. You got to put the work in now, like right now, so that by the time that season comes, you're prepared. For others, you started the process of coming out of this juggling burdens energy this past summer. So it's just a sign, it's just a further confirmation for you, is what I'm hearing. And we have time to put, what have I been saying this whole 20-some minutes? Time to put in the work. You want to move forward. You want to be encouraged. You want to find your divine counterpart, masculine, or again, for some of you, it's just being encouraged by a divine masculine. It's not necessarily that they're yours. You're not dating them, but it could be a best friend that carries the energy of a divine masculine. And that person's helping you see, look, when it's time for you to find your real partner, it's kind of like anyone who has a brother that if they see you in a relationship that they know is toxic, they're quick to tell you that's not how a man's supposed to treat you. That's not how a man is supposed to love you. In other words, that is not how a man that has stepped in fully into his divinity would even act. He would appreciate the things you do. He would love you unconditionally. He would encourage you. He will catch you when you're about to like fall off and all that. Like, this person is going to come forward and comfort you and say, listen, you can do anything you want to do. That's how a divine masculine operates. So for some of you, it's like a figure that's showing you what a divine masculine is capable of, so that you can differentiate the difference. Especially if you have like a toxic father or uncle, someone that's male to you. Right? But for many of you, this is about moving forward. But in order to move forward into that divine union, into that union that's going to bring about so many blessings, you got to put in the work. You can't just stand there and wait for them to come to you. And you can't chase. It's not about chasing them either. It's not about chasing them. It's about putting in the work on yourself, on your dreams, so that by the time this energy, if it hasn't already, comes around you, you're strong in who you are. There's no need to misunderstand where they're coming from and what they mean to you. You'll be strong. All right. Now, we're going to get into, I got to pick these up in section because it's a lot of cards. We're going to get into some of the traits. These could end up being steps you have to take in business. It can be your actual business trait, or it can just be something that will contribute to the business you want to do. Because remember, this is a prosperity, wealth, and luck reading. We're breaking down how to change your luck around, how it plays into your divine awakening, the timing of things, or the timing that stuff has started. And then we're going to end it with some positive, creative, encouraging words that you needed to hear or know. We have settling. If I can get the card out, that'd be great. Don't settle for that. Don't settle for that in juggling burdens. Don't settle for, well, I'm not grateful because I've never had anyone in my life to be grateful for, blah, blah, blah. You want to keep speaking that into existence? Or do you want to start anew? I mean, at the end of the day, what I just tell you, you're responsible. You got to own up. You ready to move forward? We have perhaps it's time to ask yourself if you're getting paid what you're worth. For those of you working in jobs, or it's not even just about working in jobs. What do we say about juggling? You're juggling all these other people's problems and situations, and you're not able to handle your own stuff because you're too busy taking care of someone else's stuff and then feeling the burden of it all. Are you settling? Are you settling for lack of pay? Are you settling for lack of love? What are you settling for? And how can you push forward out of that with speed? We have don't settle for a dead-end job where you don't see any opportunities of growth. Though your money is stable, you are not making enough to keep you happy. So those of you who make the excuse of not getting a new job or not moving out of town or not doing something, you use the excuse of, well, I mean, I have money, but I don't have enough. But my job is stable. But this, but that, but yet you're settling. There's no, I don't sugarcoat. You're settling, my loves. And you're too good to be settling. Come into a state of gratitude, really sit down, blueprint, plan what it is that you really, really want to do. And then it's time to get the ball rolling. It's already time to get the ball rolling. Like I keep telling y'all, divine timing's happening right now. It's up to whether you're ready and whether you're actually going to take action with it. That's how divine timing actually works. We have easy does it. Feels like it's going to go with what I said earlier about the Knight of Swords. Slow and steady wins the race. This is not a good time to rush. Pay attention to every detail. Careful not to get involved with get rich quick schemes. So for those of you that want to take a shortcut, listen. Speed when it comes to coming out of juggling these burdens, right? You need to push forward. The Knight of Sword just goes. However, what did I say earlier? Be mindful, eyes open, focus. You can't just push off blindly and be shocked if you hit a wall or you stumble. You might have fallen a couple of times. So this time it's time to learn the lesson. And as you push off, you hone in your focus, right? Because sometimes if you're skating in the street, you're going to have to maneuver between traffic, cars. Like you get what I'm saying. You have to maneuver. You have to pay attention. You can't just rush and there's no vision and there's no goal and there's no something even if it's the unknown, if the unknown is your destination. And truth be told, when you push forward towards your dream, everything you're doing is an unknown. So easy does it with that part. Focus, keep yourself centered. At the same time, remember I said some of you have either started what you wanted to do this past summer, or summer will be where things you want to do will come to fruition. So this means take your time in planning that. Be easy about how you're planning that and how you're going to bring it into order. So that's the balance. Push off, kick off, but for some of you, you're going to have to pay attention. Sometimes you're going to have to go really fast, and then sometimes you got to slow down. Sometimes you're going to have to build up that momentum, and then you're going to have to know when to kind of like maneuver, dip, dive, and weave in between the things you need to do. The same applies to business. You have to really pay attention to the vibration and the feel of what it is you have to do. But it seems like summertime is a time to plan for many of you. That's not going to resonate with everyone. We have options. Many options are becoming available to you now, or flooded by too many ideas. Do not get stuck in doubt when an offer presents itself. Seize the moment. Create multiple streams of income. You see that, right? Pushing forward. Time to work. Options. Multiple options coming in. Being sure not to overthink it. Use your discernment. No one's saying not to use your discernment. No one's saying not to blueprint or plan. But look, sometimes some things are going to just go off the list of that plan. Sometimes the train's going to get a little derailed. Or it may have to stop in a location you know nothing about, that unknown. But in that location, how many opportunities? In that derailment, what new opportunity is it? Perhaps what you were after and the way that you wanted to go about it needed a new perspective and you just couldn't see it. You were too busy. This is what I mean when I say stay connected, but learn where to detach. If you detach from how you think something is supposed to turn out, but you stay connected to the energy of the dream, it will manifest. It just will probably manifest different, maybe even better than you could imagine, Because even when you try to unlock yourself and have an unlimited amount of imagination, the divine will top you every single time. You have people who literally planned and envisioned their whole career, got it, and still couldn't predict many of the blessings that came into their life. And how can they allow for all that to take place? By remembering to, yes, put in the work to get to the dream, but don't be so caged in. Don't get too bottled up and thinking it has to go one way that you're standing there in quicksand. See what I mean? Recognize those opportunities. Some of you are already getting opportunities for things. And I've had to deal with this too. We all deal with this, with these different phases to some degree, right? There's opportunities and things like that that can come. And sometimes you doubt yourself because you're listening to those negative voices that are saying, well, you can't do that. Well, that you don't have enough money for that. Well, you can't travel there. The cans. That the opportunity goes, ain't nobody got time. Right? Forward motion. It's time to go forward. That's another reason, like I said, this divine masculine card is here. Alphas, go forward. I'm going to go. I got this. I'm going to go. Just be mindful in how you go. Kick off and push, but pay attention. Focus. What's your surroundings? Know where you are. It might be an unknown place. It could be an unknown time, but you should know how to move. I feel like some of you are, this is like breaking down into groups a little bit more than it was in the very, very beginning. So you may resonate with just parts of it. All right. Let's close this out with some creative, positive reinforcements. Thank you, Divine. Thank you, Spirit, for this blessing, for this beautiful reading. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. Thank you to the guardians and ancestors of the collective that have allowed me to tap in. Wow, 3 off the bat. Someone's name may begin with a J. Joy, Jonathan, Jesse. How do I pronounce that? It's not Jamal, maybe Jamil, something like that. Some names begin with a K. Kim, like a last name, like maybe you're Korean, and Kim is like a last name for you. Kelly, Katie spelled with a K. Some of you may have, it doesn't have to be, but some of those are just some of the names that were coming in here. Also some type of unique name with a K. Some of you are Crystal with a K. But anyway, we just show you how, but you make the decisions. When you have this much power, you have to make big decisions. What do y'all, for my collective that's used to being here, for all the new ones, welcome, hi. But for my collective that's used to seeing me read, what do I always tell you? These readings are for clarity and guidance. You are responsible for your decisions, for your actions and reactions. This is just to help you, to give you, open the eyes. That's why sometimes we may see certain things, but we can't tell you right away because you have to go through the lessons still. You have to put in the work. You got to put in the work. So while we're giving you some keys and tools that are necessary for you, we're not meant to take the whole walk. Okay, we're going to just unlock every single door or give you every single answer and you didn't really work for it. One, that might leave you ungrateful, right? That might make it hard for you to say the occasional thank you. This is why there's the energy exchange. This is why people exchange their energy by also saying, okay, my reader really put in the work for me. Tapping into energy isn't easy. I'm going to tip them, or I'm going to pay for a private reading, and etc. Because tapping into your energy involves a lot. And I'm one that respects the divine. I respect your guardians and your elders that watch over you. When there's something that they don't want you to know, there's a reason. They know that if you know certain information too soon, you'll act too soon. Or you'll take your sweet behind time because you'll be saying to yourself, well, I know that the outcome is this anyway. Listen, always predict that the outcome is victory. The overall outcome is the sun. The overall outcome is the 10 of cups and the 10 of pentacles. But how you get there is the journey. And you have to take that journey. You have to move. You have to move. You can't sit still. So we come in, You're guided to come to us to ask for questions that you couldn't get anywhere else. We give it to you, but that's to help you move forward. The decision to do so is always yours. And that is why I always say use your discernment. Tap into your intuition. We are guides. We are senseis, if you want to say. But it's about you absorbing the knowledge that you need in order to grow. And sometimes you may have to come just like everybody else. You may have to come back around the bend and ask for advice or get some more clarity and guidance. And that's fine. That's fine. This is spiritual work, and that's how spiritual work really works. We don't do it for you. We give you the tools necessary to do it yourself so that when you look back, you can go, damn, look at how far I brought myself. I remember when I was just sitting in the corner, just wasting away. And now look at me. Now look at where I'm at. Right? We have just let your imagination go. You can create all kinds of beautiful effects just that easy. What did we have here earlier? That take it easy, right? Taking it easy can also enhance creativity because it's a new beginning. Wasn't I talking about new beginnings earlier as well? Boom. If you let your imagination of what you really are, I won't even say what you could be, what you truly are, expand in your mind and allow it to push you forward. The adventures, the blessings are endless. Endless. The opportunities are endless. Do you see? Can you see the picture that's being painted here? Every day is a good day when you paint. Every day is a good day when you manifest the environment and paint the picture of your life with your own two hands, with your own creative mind. Notice that that's a 10. And the 10 leads back to the 1. That is a cycle. That is the ending of one cycle to begin anew. You're closing out a past cycle. You're entering a cosmic cycle. You're entering a new beginning. It is your choice, though, to accept it. You have free will. It is your choice to move forward. It is your choice to create new bonds, to be open, to receive. It is your choice. I can't stress that to you enough. Sometimes y'all really need to hear it because you will keep passing all of your stuff off to somebody else. You will keep passing your blessings to someone else. Keep passing the responsibility to someone else. People have hurt you. This is true. People have thrown a monkey wrench in your plans before. This is also true. But will you maintain that being your truth? Or are you going to say, wait a minute, I have enough power to pass all of that, bunk all of that. I'm moving forward. You can't stop me. Who are you to get in my way of me achieving the things that are divinely destined for me to do? And we're not talking about doing it with quick schemes. We're not talking about having to become like them and be conniving and manipulative and all that. We're talking about really putting in the work with real joy, love, and compassion for what you do in your heart, with a real dream so that you can manifest what's necessary. And it'll bring in the vibration that you put out. What you put out is what you'll receive. So be open. Be open to give the work, to receive the blessing that comes with it. And I think that is an amazing prosperity reading for the day. I might do a prosperity love reading later. Still not sure on that yet. But blessings to you all. Love you all. Peace, love, and light. Almost forgot. Had to come back and let you guys know. We have the Cosmic Cycles Tarot, which is amazing. This was a Kickstarter. It's an amazing deck. We have Divine Awakening of the Soul Oracle and Sands of Time Oracle, which are by Jennifer Aquarius Tarot. I love her to bits. Check her out. She also has a channel. We also have My Soul Sister. For those of you used to me, you've seen this before. This is the Career and Money Oracle right here. And then we have the Bob Ross little quotes. I love these cards. I will have the links to these in the description. Peace, love, and light, beautiful souls.